Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back to Paws and Purpose. I'm Paul Heiso.
I'm Mara Davies.
And I'm KJ Eugene.
So glad to have you guys here today, and we have a very special guest with us today that we've wanted on for a while, too, Miss Shelby Brandt.
Hi.
Hey,
Thank
Yay,
you. Welcome.
Shelby.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Thanks for coming back. Come back. You haven't been here yet, but thanks for being here now.
Come back to work.
Yeah, exactly. So
We'd love
glad
to
you're
see you
here.
every day.
Totally. And Shelby, you are the Director of People and Culture. Is that correct?
Yeah, the recent.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Director of People
congratulations.
and Culture. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. So excited.
Yes.
So I oversee, when I explain my role, I oversee our entire volunteer program. So it's about 600 active volunteers. And then I also oversee all of our staff training and onboarding. And so also underneath my belt now, I'll be working closely with our young professionals group and our outreach. So anytime that we go to tabling events or we're bringing schools on site or corporate groups on site for their day of service, that all falls under my umbrella.
Awesome.
Well, and how many people are on those teams?
Yeah, so for the volunteer team, it's a team of 4, 3 full-time team members, and then 1 part-time, and that's it. And then me, yes,
Yeah.
and then me.
So that's a mighty group.
Totally.
Yes, small and mighty group.
Yes.
They have extensive experience in animal welfare, so most of them have come from being animal care specialist here and then growing through our programs and now in the volunteer role where we really get to focus on relationship building and creating a high level of customer service standards, not only for ourselves, but how we treat our internal staff and then all the volunteers that come through our doors and the community.
Awesome. One more from me before I pass it on. Tell us a little bit about like yourself, where you've come from, your background, your progression here at the SPCA of Texas.
So I don't have the standard animal welfare experience. I got my degree in hospitality management at the University of Central Florida. Go Knights. And with that, I worked for the Walt Disney World Company in hotel management. And then I went on to work for the Ritz-Carlton and then found my way here to Dallas. COVID happened, and I was an event manager at the time, and there were no more corporate events happening. And when I was furloughed, I started looking at what were going to be my next steps. And I wanted to feel a sense of purpose and that every day that I was coming to work, I was building on something that was bigger than myself. When I was at Disney, it was about creating magical moments and being encapsulated in those memories. And I loved that. And so I was trying to find that again. And that's when I saw that the SPCA of Texas was hiring. So I looked at my 2 dogs who are both rescued and thought that maybe I could also help tell their stories and their other puppies and kittens that need adoption. And I can help facilitate that in a way that also supports like my skill set and find that and share that here. And so I'm just very grateful. I've been here for 3.5 years and it's been going really well, I think. I hope.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I think so. Yes, I think you can confidently say
I think so too. KJ, I've got a follow up to that one. You mind if I jump and ask? So you talked about working for the Disney company, and I've been with you for about 1.5 years now, and noticed what an outgoing personality you have, and how you love to smile and get a little bit of attention here and there. Did you have any ideas about being like on television or being an actress or doing something publicly like that, working for Disney? Was that an aspiration at all during that time?
No, I was a mousekeeper when I worked for Disney. So I was a housekeeper, so very much behind the scenes.
Gotcha, okay.
And no, I never thought about going on TV. I just really like bringing energy into a room. I think that if like working specifically in animal welfare, there can be really difficult days, and maybe like my interaction with one person can help lift them up because I don't know what everybody's going through. And so trying to make sure that when I come here, I bring joy and deal with other things later. But no, never thought of that. But now I do potentially get to go on TV and help get our animals adopted. So I'm really excited for that next adventure as well.
Yes.
It'd be perfect.
Coming soon to a TV near you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me jump in there, KJ. Don't mean to.
No problem. Well, you bring energy to the room, like you said. And so when you're leading these volunteers, what are some things you do to help train them for what they're going to be going into?
Leading volunteers and staff, it's all about clear communication and ensuring that we're communicating in multiple facets because everybody learns at a different speed and they prefer a different way to learn.
Yeah.
And so for volunteers specifically, we have online training that they get to opt into. So if I want to come and I want to only hang out with the dogs, then that's the training path that I can go down. And then after I do my video, I have a quiz so that we make sure that you learned. And then you come on site and we do hands-on training with the team. And then you also get like a one-pager to take home with you. So we're hitting the visual, the textile, and then the hands-on aspect of it as well. So we try to hit all of that so that, again, clear communication, and then also that everyone stays safe when we're handling the animals and we feel confident. So if we feel confident, we're more empowered to share our ideas and hopefully get more animals adopted or into foster care.
Yeah. And I'm sure not everything goes perfectly as planned all the time.
No, it does not.
It doesn't?
No.
What?
No, but... And that's okay because it's learning opportunities. What the volunteer team really focuses on when maybe we're not hitting the exact way that we're supposed to like leash a dog, or we're not as confident taking them out, we pivot and we find something that does work. So maybe it's, well, instead of taking them out for walks, we're going to do puppy socialization. So you sit in the kennel and this is how you interact with the puppy. Or maybe we're going to read to the dogs first for a little while. So we still want to encourage growth, but we don't have to like push them down or say, no, you can't do this for X amount of days until you come back. So we try to find different ways that we can help and support them while they're still making a significant impact on the animals.
Is there anything like you feel as far as volunteers and some of their shortcomings would help as far as like a superpower? If they had a superpower, what would you give them?
Yes, okay. It sounds silly.
I could fly.
No, I wish if there was a superpower I could give volunteers, I wish that they could just turn into rubber real quick. Because just going back on that safety component, like everybody is here trying to make such a positive moments for these animals, and nobody is trying to break the rules per se. Sometimes though, animal body language is hard to read, or we might not catch all the little nuances. And some of our dogs here are really frustrated sitting in their kennel for a long time. So if I could wish for a superpower, I would wish that we could turn to rubber. And so if I get a little mouthy or a cat gets a little too spicy, it doesn't do anything. And we're rubber and we're fine. Nice. And then we just move forward.
I love that. Ooh, reference back for our listeners, viewers out there. If you want to learn more about some of that body language, we did talk to Dr. Tynes on our team a few episodes ago. You may want to go back and learn a little bit more, dig a little deeper.
I think it's number 6, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's number 6, yeah. Well, I'd like to go back to what you're talking about with onboarding, because you did my onboarding, and without, just being the, gushing over the guest, I'll tell you, I've been to a lot of onboardings as a professional, not in the nonprofit world. In the for-profit world, and I've never had one that was effective and as fun as that one was for me. It was 2 days of, like most places are just like, here's your desk, here's a backpack and a cup, get busy, good luck.
Get to work.
But that's not how it was here, and you were so kind to just walk us through each thing, and everything was so well put together. I was completely impressed and so happy to start here just based on what you did the first couple of days we were here.
Thank you.
Here.
Yeah, when I started taking on the onboarding part of my role, I really wanted to focus on giving the spotlight to every person that works here, because there are so many programs and everybody works so hard that it shouldn't just be one thing. We all work so closely together doing what it takes to get these animals into foster care, to transport, rescue, adoptions, that I want to make sure that when our new team members are coming on board, they get to see who they're working with, whether it's across the table or we work in tandem closely all the time. But then it also just like builds that excitement that I get to be a part of this story and I get to make this impact alongside these other like-minded people. And so it is 2 days, but it's 2 days of getting to meet everybody. And with an organization with 170 people, it's a lot, but it's exciting and you get to be a part of it.
But it's timed perfectly. You don't feel like it's 2 days. It's like, wow, that's okay. I guess I got to work now because that was fun. Yeah, it was great. I just wanted to give you those kudos because you're good at that. Very good at that.
It's mostly everybody else, because I sit in for a little bit and then everybody else comes in and talks. So.
Yeah, but as long as you feed people.
You created it.
Totally. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, that's good. I mean, Shall we talk more about? I mean, volunteers. What do you look for in a volunteer? Where are there signs that you know someone's going to be a great volunteer by just being in their presence?
Everyone's a great volunteer. So we also do onboarding for our volunteers. So that happens about 4 times a month. And one of the things that we ask, like the icebreaker, nobody likes to share like who they are and get up and speak, especially in a new room, like a room full of new people that you've never met before. And one of the things we always say is like, it can be a little intimidating standing up and sharing stuff about yourself, but the person next to you is here because they love animals just as much as you do, and you want to make an impactful journey with these animals, and so shake it off like a dog. And what we do is we do go around the room and we ask them to share their name, but then also what journey or what impact do you want to have at the SPCA of Texas? So when we're starting that conversation with these volunteers, we get to hear the unique reason why they chose us so that we can also tailor their volunteer journey to exactly what they aspire to be. And we really try to knock down the barriers to get volunteers in every aspect of our organization because they're excited and we need to capitalize on that so that we can use their skills and their ideas so that we can all be better and we can all level up.
Wow.
If budget and time weren't an issue, what's your dream volunteer program or initiative?
Okay, so I don't like hearing the answer no, so a lot of times I'll just go and figure it out. But I have really been trying to lift off the floor a running club here. We have a beautiful hiking group that goes out every month. We're taking a hiatus during the summer because it's so hot.
Yeah.
It's so hot.
Yeah.
But it's ran and led by our volunteers, and I would love to also mimic that, but in a running atmosphere for our super energetic dogs. I think it doesn't really have to do with time or budget, but more like the location. So running outside our shelter is a little bit hard and challenging just because of the traffic we get.
Sure.
So I'm still trying to figure out those logistics, but I have a lot of support from our volunteers and our development team is really on board with it. So it's just maybe time and figuring out those specific logistics to make sure that our volunteers and our animals are safe when they're out running around.
Are there any other volunteer-led programs or initiatives that you know?
So we have a couple. So our Tails and Trails. We also have our Shelter Seamsters. So it's a group of only women right now, but and they come to the shelter.
Welcome.
Men welcome.
Come.
And so they bring their sewing kits here, or their sewing machines, and they create curtains for our fearful cats in the back. So we give them a little bit of privacy so they can decompress when they're at the shelter. They've also made stockings for our North Park adoption event that happens every November and December. We have our Paws on the go. So those are volunteers that are taking high energy dogs that might not fit on our mobile adoption van. They take them to the mobile event and they're their personal handler. So they're their Uber driver and then also their personal handler at the event.
That's cool.
So we can try to get these guys adopted because they just don't thrive in the mobile van. And we've gotten a lot of our long-term animals adopted through that program, which we're really excited about. And then we also have our Young Professionals group. So that's a group of young advocates that are wanting to help spread the awareness of what the SPCA of Texas does. And so they meet for tabling events all over the DFW area.
One thing I wanted to add about the sewing group, and this was a while back, but many years ago there were, I don't know if anyone out there remembers the fires in Australia several years ago.
Oh, yeah.
They were horrific. The sewing group, it's the same wonderful group, and I want to correct myself, men, women, everyone, literally everyone is welcome. If you like to sew, you should come help.
For sure.
And here's why, because they made Joey pouches for all the baby Joeys that were orphaned in the fires.
That's pretty cool.
And so we sent them to Australia for all the baby Joeys.
Cool.
I mean,
How sweet.
we sent stuff down to Austin before. I mean, it's a great group, the sewing group. We have a lot of amazing volunteer groups.
Well, Shelby, of those things that you just spoke about, which one are you most proud of? I mean, which one gives you the most fulfillment?
Paws on the go.
Yeah.
Getting our rambunctious dogs out of the shelter, and because it's so different, right? When we're in shelter, we are confined into a smaller area, and our animal care team, our behavior team, our volunteers, they do everything that they can, but it's still a small area for animals to live in. And so they just naturally get bored and frustrated. And so just because we're too big to fit on the van, we get our volunteers to come bring them to the mobile adoption events, and then they get to have that experience. And when we talk about them, we'd get to talk about how great they did. And so, yeah, maybe we're a little bit frustrated in the shelter, but when I'm out in the real world, which is where I'm supposed to be, I'm awesome.
And to show people that firsthand.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Question: how does a volunteer get trust enough to lead something like the hike or anything else?
Yeah, so passion. They have a lot of passion, and we just really just throw out the idea and hope that somebody also is just as excited as excited about it as we are. Eric has been leading our volunteer hikes for years, like before I was even here, and he's just ran with it, and he's able to like train others to also take his place, so that consistently we're able to do these hikes every month.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we're set up for success, but we're really looking for that individual that has the idea, and we want to put all that wind in your sails so that you can lead it. And what resources do you need? How can we communicate it out? How can we recruit for you for this program that you want to lift off the floor? So when a volunteer comes to us with, this is my idea, like, that's great. And how can we help? Because at the end of the day, it's all about spreading awareness and then getting these animals out adopted.
Well, and then all of that training you were talking about, that comes into play because like Eric, all these folks, everybody who's been through all of the training, they've got all the T-shirts, literally.
Yeah.
And they're really wonderful. But, like we were saying, just to start, we're like, hey, this is the conversation. Not everyone's going to do things perfectly every time, like you were saying a second ago. So do you have like a favorite oops moment with a volunteer that turned into a fabulous story later?
I don't know if it's like a fabulous story, but it's definitely one that we share all the time.
Yeah.
So we welcomed the United Football League in last year, and it was their first time here. So it's like a bunch of dudes that play football, and we taught them how to walk all of our animals. So a crash course and how to be safe. What are our policies? How do you do this? Where do you go?
So fun.
Yeah, and
A wonderful group of people.
That was so
my
cool.
God,
Yes.
wonderful group.
so on our adoption floor, we have like a keypad. And you open the door and then you go in. Super easy. In the holdings, not so much. It's like a latch, and you have to open the door a certain way and then push in. Otherwise, you get locked inside. And we share that. We share that. And so we were having the guys walk all the dogs, and at the end of it, we were missing one player. And and he opened it, and instead of pushing in, he pulled out. So when he went to go drop the dog off, unleash the dog, he turned around, the door was locked on him, and he had none of our phone numbers.
Oh, poor thing.
He was like yelling for help, but all the dogs were barking, so nobody heard him. He was stuck there for a while. He said that his dog specifically just kind of looked at him like, you don't belong. So
I got you too, huh?
So we tell that all the time when we're teaching people how to enter and leave the
You have to know the
dogs.
secret badge flip.
Right, also that. And now we're like, here's the phone number. It's on our website. Like our volunteer phone number is now on our website so that people can find us and call us and not just like, hello.
That's a good oops.
Right? But a good learning moment for him. He'll never forget how to operate that door again.
Right? Yeah. So
His heart.
That's awesome. Well, what other funny type of situations have you come upon with volunteers? I'm sure there's been some people that, have come in and maybe, just thought they knew what it was all about, and they got, a little bit more instruction from you, and it was a whole different ballgame for them maybe.
I think a lot of that comes down to the training. I don't know if I have a specific funny story, but that people want to come and they want to help, and they're eager to help because they have dogs at home and they want to help match make again. And so we do come into that where I have a dog at home, and so sometimes the training might feel a little bit slower pace.
Yeah, because it's different. Shelter animals are different.
Yeah, and we just have a higher responsibility a little bit.
Or maybe, let me correct that. I don't think necessarily sheltered animals aren't different. They're in a very different environment.
That's
Yeah,
right.
And then if it's your family member, then you know them inside out, backwards, upside down, all that. When you
Right.
come here, it's a brand new dog and another 10 and another 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and again, they act differently when they're out in the real world. And so we sometimes we have volunteers that come in and they do know what they're doing. And so we'll fast track them. That way we're not necessarily stuck, but we want to make sure that we capitalize and we utilize everyone's skills. And if they do have all that dog training, then let's push you forward, and let's not go through all the required black and white steps. It's very gray because we want to make sure that people feel inspired to come volunteer. And if we're putting a bunch of barriers to that, then they might not come back.
Exactly. Like, hey, can you do 20 hours of laundry first before you do anything else? Like, oh, sure, let's do some laundry. Thanks. I really want to come back. But in our core volunteer, there's our staff and volunteers walk side by side, and it's we're all a big team. We're all Team Purple, staff, volunteers, all together. That's really important that everybody is working together all the time, and we all can feel like a family at times. Can you give us a moment that was like an inspiring, uplifting, like moment where the volunteer family, they're family, and we treat each other that way?
Totally. This one's a roller coaster, but I'll give it to you. So one of our volunteers had trained all the way up through all of our levels and then started volunteering with our behavior team. So she was specifically working with animals that need a routine, and she was learning how to engage with those dogs and then what to train them out in the yard. Well, we found out that she was diagnosed with cancer, and she had told us that she was going back home to be closer to family and go through treatment. And so looking at that, she's a person. We built this wonderful relationship. And when the volunteer team, we got together, we're like, well, we could send flowers, but how do we make this more personal? Because she meant so much to us and so much to the dogs. So we put together like a photo book, and stalked her a little bit on her Facebook. But we pulled all the photos that she had taken selfies with of all the dogs that she had worked with, and then also reached out to the behavior team to get a list of those dogs, put all those pictures in. Some of them were adopted, so we put the adoption photo in there. And then our staff wrote kind words, and we put that in there. And at the back of the page, we crafted a letter as if it was like on behalf of the shelter animals, just
sweet.
Talking about how much healing she gave them. And then hopefully this book will help her heal while she's going through chemo. So roller coaster. She had reached back out, and she sent us her photo of her ringing the bell because she had completed her chemotherapy, and now she's coming back.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I love that so much.
Oh, well,
This is everyone is so important. Everyone's work is so important, and there are moments when we all stumble and we got to lift each other up too.
Yeah,
especially when something comes at you out of the blue, and just having that love surround you. That had to have been an amazing feeling, and what a wonderful thing for our whole team to do.
And it was like everyone was involved, and everyone got to be a part of it, and everyone was thinking about her and cheering her on from afar. So we're just really happy.
That's fabulous.
That's how people should treat each other. That should be a model for how people treat each other.
Yeah. And it is about like those relationships that we build. They're so powerful. And like I was saying in the beginning, we have like 600 active volunteers, and it's not just the volunteer team's responsibility to create the relationships, but they definitely start there, and treating everybody as an individual and meeting them where they're at and helping them and supporting them. My team is amazing, and they have built such a strong relationship with each volunteer that we're able to make the volunteer journey while they're here with animals great, but then also build that relationship and continue to build that trust and compassion with each other, and build it with the animals too.
And that's everyone here. We share. Yeah. Like everyone, I mean, we say this, walk around, you see a volunteer, say hi, say thank you. Even if you're not sure what they're doing or you just met them, introduce yourself. Say hi. Thank you for being here. Yeah.
When Sarah, our volunteer program supervisor, and I, when we talk to our team about how we interact with our volunteers, it's important that we go above and beyond the unexpressed wishes and needs of our volunteers. And I stole that from the Ritz-Carlton, but it makes you think. You're saying, I'm here to volunteer with the foster department. And it's super easy to just, here's your badge, go down the hall, take a right, you'll find it. and I don't know about y'all, but when I was new here, this building is crazy.
Yes.
It's very difficult to find everything.
Yes.
And so our standard is we don't just point, we get up and we escort. That way you continue to build that relationship, and that way people don't feel lost and they feel more empowered the next time that they come. And it's also works internally too. So if people are reaching out, because we need volunteer support during a monthly meeting, well, we probably need volunteer support every month. So how are we actively seeking out those opportunities to recruit volunteers and get them to support our staff and thinking forward versus being just reactive?
Totally.
Is it an intentional thing of you trying to apply the hospitality background to what you do now? Or is that just something that comes naturally to you?
Ooh, I don't think it was intentional.
question.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it's intentional. It just... this is how my career was built. Like, that was the foundation of what I did. And I think it is just so transferable to what we do because of the relationships we build and how we treat people and how we need to treat people when they come through our doors, that the hospitality training, it's just so easily cemented into what we do and how we can relate it to animals, people, and animals and people.
Well, isn't that common thread service?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and how can we be the standard? How can we set the bar? How can we be the purple standard so that other organizations look to us?
What are some things that y'all working on to make sure that happens?
Training. All the training. Yeah. So, the vice president of people and culture, who y'all had,
Yes, we
okay,
did.
was on
Yes,
here.
Yeah.
Her and I are working on Purple University for our staff. So that'll be an internal platform where we can do, like, all of our trainings will be housed. We can standardize everything, make sure that we're assigning the training to the appropriate people, and then also adding additional training focused on service, supervisory skills, managerial skills, communication, you name it, and that way it can all live in this learning system. So it starts with training, and then also holding everybody accountable and not being afraid to step in and maybe, hey, like, it didn't, I overheard this conversation. I don't know if that was the best way. Like, how could we reframe it and go and use maybe this word instead?
Sure. Sure. Well, I mean, that it seems like there would be a lot of different avenues you could take with that, and things to take into consideration when you have people who are in here out of the goodness of their heart. They're not being paid.
Right.
So, I mean, that's obviously something that you have to take into consideration when you're training and deciding what they're supposed to do and all that kind of thing too, right?
Yeah, and then if we hold our team accountable too, we're all creating this level of service for our volunteers and our donors, or anyone that walks through the door. If I find a lost dog and I come to the big purple building off the highway, am I going to be treated with compassion and respect when I walk through the doors, or am I going to feel this judgment thrusted upon me? So we want to make sure that when we go through this, again, we're all looking through the lens of people are coming with positive intent.
Yeah.
And if we think that everyone is negative, then we can't move forward and people won't come to us. And so we got to work through that.
And you never know when a volunteer is going to become a staff member, because that happens
Totally.
a lot around these parts.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too, I think that's impressive about our organization too is the inclusion. I mean, of all people, walks of life, color, sex, it doesn't matter. You are welcome here, and you're welcome to join our family at any time. That's something that I love about this place. Yeah. Well, Shelby, I mean, what a podcast. This has been, we've laughed and we've cried, and we've got so much good information from you. We cannot thank you enough for coming on and just sharing some of those, especially that story about your volunteer who has gone through some trials and tribulations. That definitely will resonate, and we're so thankful you told that story. So,
Can I ask one more question?
please do. Absolutely, KJ, please do.
I'm just wondering, it came to my head,
Okay.
how important is the responsibility of you being the first face, or one of the first faces that people see when they come to this organization? How deep do you take that responsibility?
Good question.
Very deep. I think when it comes to welcoming new staff members or new volunteers, it's important that we are transparent in what we do. And that was really important to me when we talk about onboarding, because whoever's in the room, whether you're a staff member or a volunteer, you chose to to be with us as much as we chose you. And so it's important that we are honest and transparent in how we operate. And I think working in an animal welfare organization, that's very critical. And so sometimes we have to have really difficult conversations, but they need to happen. And so part of what I talk about is the more challenging days, not only for staff, but also for volunteers. So it's necessary, and I don't take it lightly, but I think it's important, and I love it. I love what I do.
Thanks for doing what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you said, when in those onboarding, you set the bar. You know, it's like, okay, this is the expectation at SPCA. It's a level of professionalism that you demonstrate right off the get-go, which I think sets everybody up, at least to get started on their path to success.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm a lot. I can be a lot.
Well, you know,
or you could be a little.
I'd rather be
nothing. Or I could be nothing.
You know, what's the difference?
I'd rather be a lot.
I'd rather be entertained than put to sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
The what?
I'd rather be entertained than put to sleep.
Yeah, we don't want to like have everyone like sawing logs over here. We want
This
people to be
is
like,
what you can expect at the SPCA after 3 months.
We're not robots or AI.
Yeah.
Right?
Right yet.
Maura, any last things, thoughts that you'd like to talk about?
I mean, one thing that I always like to do at the end of every podcast is to give us kind of an overview of things that are coming up. And then sometimes, Shelby, if you have something, hop in.
Yeah.
I always like to remind folks, you might be seeing this in various places or hearing this in different places, but you can always find us at spca.org. That's our website. Somebody got that in 1994. I promise you, we get all the people all the time. Literally, someone an hour ago said, this is a national organization. I'm like, I promise you, I'm sitting in Dallas, Texas, and we serve North Texas. And some smart person got that. And so that's just our website. So we also are able to assist various organizations statewide, with whether that's animal cruelty investigations, just being good partners all over the place. So yes, we're located here in North Texas, and you can get to know us on our website, spca.org. We also, please join us on our social media channels. We're everywhere you are. So look for us on your favorite spot. The only one that's kind of weird is it's at SPCA of Texas page on Facebook. And then, well, I guess it's also Instagram is at SPCA Texas. Y'all, it's a long story. Just go with it. Everything else is at SPCA of Texas. So you can find us there and see all of our wonderful content as well. And then I like to also talk about, we have a monthly drive-through pet pantry. That's actually going to, it's the third Sunday of every month. And that's going to always be on our website. You can, we always have adoption specials going on at this exact moment when we're talking. It's foster month, National Foster Month. And so we're having a foster your way to a free adoption special, which means if you become a foster ambassador out there, and then your foster pet gets adopted, you get a free adoption that you can keep and adopt an animal for free, or you can give that to someone else.
You can't beat that deal.
Yeah, it's really cool. And we always have a special. So again, go to spca.org. You can check out spca.org/calendar to check out what else is going on. And then we have a blog there as well. Check out. It's really wonderful. We have all kinds of wonderful things going on. Everything from really heartwarming stories of animals going from hurt to a home. You can find stories about our amazing people. We feature our volunteers of the month on the blog. Yes, we do. And so we have all kinds of cool things on the blog. So check it out. I know that's a bunch. Shelby, did you want to add anything in terms of like ongoing stuff or even something that's coming up this summer?
Oh my gosh, ongoing. If you're thinking about volunteering, come try it. Just join our onboarding and see if it's a match for you. I promise if you have this idea and you're like, I want to see if it works within animal welfare, it probably does. Bring it and let's talk, because the best thing is when you work with an animal and you create this bond. There's something about humans and animals that it's just so loving and they're so uplifting, how we relate to each other and what we do for one another, that if come volunteer and learn about it and experience it for yourself, because it's joyful.
It's pretty amazing.
That's a ringing endorsement.
Yeah. And you can go to spca.org/volunteer to find that directly.
That's awesome. KJ, anything else you'd like to add?
Nothing from me.
Well, Shelby, like we were saying, just so pleased to have you here. So fun. Enjoyed every second of this. Thank you so much for what you do for not only the animals, but for the people in this place. We wouldn't be the same without you, and we're so glad you came on today.
Thank you, Shelby.
Shelby.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone out there for watching and listening.
Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to get onto YouTube or our webpage, like Mara said, watch the rest of the podcast. I think this is number 7 or 8. So take a look at the other ones, all fun, and join us very shortly. We'll have a new one very soon. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Come back and see us again.
Bye.
And that wraps up today's episode. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and took away something valuable. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with a friend. It really helps us keep the conversation going. Got thoughts, questions, or ideas for future episodes? We'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.